Alright, what's up everybody? Today I'm going to be working on the LS Comanche. Right now I'm getting the motor completely drop-in ready, so whenever I do the swap, it's ready just to drop in and hook up my harness and go from there. But what I'm doing today is I am putting a stock truck 5.3 and a Comanche with a stock hood and stock intake. Novak sells motor mounts for these. They are same as stock motor mounts, but they're altered slightly. But if you get the Novak ones, you have to get an LS1 or 6 intake, which means you have to get an LS1 or 6 water pump, and you have to relocate your alternator. That's a lot of money that I don't feel like spending. That's $600 to $800 depending on the parts you get for the motor to fit. But I'm going to be putting this motor in with the stock hood with stock truck intake. Basically all you're doing is you're putting the motor about 3 inches lower than Novak puts it. You're going to need universal LS motor mounts. Alright, those were $60 on eBay. They come with 2 legs down and you'll weld them to the stock motor mount themselves. Once you got those in, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to switch out the power steering pump pulley. Because when you sit it that low, the pulley will hit the frame rail, so you gotta it's just barely hits it. So you're gonna want to change the pump pulley. The pump pulley that works is a GM 3100 motor power steering pump pulley. That is the part number for it. Dorman number, same as AutoZone number and everything else. But here is the difference. It is only 1 inch smaller, which means it's ½ inch on each side. However, there is a difference in the mounting heights. You can do one of 2 things to get this pulley to fit and line up with the belt. You can either cut off 3/8 to ½ inch on your shaft, which is not ideal because there's only about 1 inch of shaft there, and you have probably 3/4 of an inch to mount. So you could probably get away with cutting off 1/4 inch. However, I'm not going to do that. These mounting distances is ½ inch, just at ½ inch. I'm gonna do a little rough. That's the difference. All right, so easiest way that I'm going to do it is I'm going to space the power steering pump backwards ½ inch. This bolt is ½ inch wide. You can obviously get a spacer. You can make this look nicer if you want, but no one's ever going to be looking at my power steering spacer, so I really don't care. So that's what I'm going to use to space this ½ inch. And with that properly spaced ½ inch, that will make this pulley line up with the rest. Once that is in place, I will modify the location of the alternator by simply coming down, trimming here, trimming right along this line here, and right around this bolt. Cut it off. What you're going to do is you're going to take and clock down the alternator. It's about 2½ inches, but I'm going to get it as low as I can possibly get it without hitting. And then you simply just make a bracket that holds this in place, and you can bolt it to the head right here in this location. You can also probably notch out a hole here in this mount there to put your bracket in. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get started on this, and I'll try and jump back once I've got some more stuff done, and I'll let you know how it goes. Alright, what's up? I just got done modifying this accessory bracket. This is what I cut off. Basically, I followed here, went down here, followed this line, come down, and cut off this ear. Easiest way I found to do it was cut off the back of the fins on the back side, so you don't see any of your extra cuts and scratches and whatever. Go on the back side and cut this piece off. I still gotta do a little bit of trimming right in here to make this alternator sit a little bit lower. I'd like it to sit a little bit lower. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the alternator. For the bracket, what I'm gonna do is obviously use the factory mounting hole there, but for this one, I'm gonna build some sort of bracket that comes down and attaches to this bolt hole right here, which happens to be the same thread pitch as this hole here, which was on this bracket for the power steering pump, which you will no longer be using because you're moving the power steering pump back 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna use that bolt up here for the mount whenever that time comes. But as for now, right now, I'm gonna go ahead and get this cleaned up a little bit more, round off some edges. I'm gonna clean it up and paint it, and then I'm gonna go ahead and install the pump and pulley. All right, I'm back here. All right, so what we ended up having to do, once you get this all bracket completely bolted on, you do not need to clearance this any, or I didn't anyways, because once it's bolted up, the alternator hits the valve cover. So I didn't need to do that. It's basically right where it was last time. I also lied. This hole is not the same as the one down there. It was packed full of dirt and it threaded in first, but I cleaned it out and it's not the same. But I still plan on going there. Still plan on going to that spot. Also, I got the pump on, the pulley on. I had to get longer bolts with my spacer. I did not end up cutting the pump shaft. I thought of a better way to do this. So the way this installer works is it pushes it, you basically thread this into the hole and it pushes on. Well, if it presses on flush with the edge. Well, I needed it to line up, so I used this 13/16 socket that fits over the shaft and works well for that. You only need to go a little bit. I went all the way because I was looking at it wrong at a weird angle. I ended up smashing it into that second bolt, and I think I may have tweaked it a hair. Maybe it's just these Chinese pulleys, or maybe I did it. I don't know. Just be mindful of that whenever you go to do that. So yeah, all I gotta do is build a mount for this, basically in this location. I'll raise it up, you know, a hair or two just to get it off that valve cover. I'm gonna build a bracket, probably go from here to here, and then from here come down and go to this bolt hole here, and then this here will be done. And I'll drop it in the motor, drop it in the Comanche. Next video I do, I'll be basically an update of everything that I've just done inside the Comanche, to see if this is actually worth doing, to see if it actually works. I'm not sure if I've said anything yet, but I met a guy on Facebook. His name was Daniel Kirby. He did this same setup in his Comanche. He sent me a few pictures and stuff, but so I'm kind of going off tricks and tips and pointers that he said and did. I'm gonna make a video on doing it. I'm also going to attempt to use the stock manifolds instead of buying Novak's $500 headers. If anything, I will just cut the flange off, extend it down past the frame rails, or do something that's cast steel, so they're easy to weld to, not cast iron like most people think. So I'll just weld on that. I'm gonna try it anyways. But yeah, next video you see hopefully will be me putting this motor in the Comanche and test fitting everything, and hopefully the hood closes. So we'll see. Appreciate you watching again. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so you can keep updated on my progress with this build. I'm pretty excited for it. So yeah, let me know what y'all think. Got any questions? I'll do my best to answer them. Later.